I guess we have resource persons who are lawyers for the victims of the EG case. And I would like to direct my questions to the lawyers. Based from my understanding, Mr. Chair, the jurisdiction or the general mission of the ICC is to investigate and, if warranted, prosecute individuals who are charged with heinous crimes such as war crimes, genocide, and crimes against humanity. Would that be correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair, including a fourth crime, crimes of aggression. So these are the only 4 types of crimes tried before the ICC.
Yes, and that includes crimes of aggression. And later on, nakuha po yung attention ko doon po sa opening statement ninyo, Attorney Conti, na merong hong kaso ngayon, no, ang biktima nitong EGK at nasa ICC na po ito. Tama po?
That is correct. The preliminary examination was opened February 2018 and the investigation was granted June 2021.
Before I go on the details of the case, would you care to update us what is the status of this case before the ICC?
So the status of the case at present, Your Honor, would be it's at the investigation stage. Bale po, yung sa atin po kasi ang kilala natin ay preliminary investigation. And there are 2 questions. One, what is the crime committed? And second, who is the perpetrator? Sa ICC po, sa preliminary examination, ang tinalakay na ay meron bang crimes against humanity na ginawa sa Pilipinas? Meron. Kaya nasa second stage na po tayo, who is most responsible or who are most responsible for these crimes against humanity. The ICC is in the process of determining these people so that they can issue either summons or warrants of arrest before trial can begin.
You mentioned a while ago that it was already determined that there is a crime against humanity. And you are referring to the war on drugs.
Yes,
Is
Your
that
Honor.
correct?
Yes, Your Honor. The ICC opened the investigation upon the request of the Office of the Prosecutor, approving the request because they believe that there is reasonable basis to believe that crimes against humanity were committed in the Philippines within the scope of November 2011 to about June 2016, murders and other inhumane acts which happened in Davao City, and from July 2016 to March 2019 nationwide. So that is the scope of the investigation, temporal and geographic.
Part of your statement earlier, you mentioned that we charge him as liable for heinous crimes. Heinous crimes. He is liable for conspiracy because of the institution of a state policy to neutralize whomever he identified as so-called enemies of the state under the guise of anti-criminality.
Yes,
Would you
Your Honor.
care to explain and expound this statement?
Your Honor, actually, part of that is derived, in fact, from ICC documents, both from the OTP, or the Office of the Prosecutor request to open the investigation, and the decision agreeing to such. This conspiracy says that the killings were premeditated murders. Ang lumalabas po, kung magre-refer po ako sa sinabi kanina ng isa pong resource person, si Senator Trillanes, the war on drugs was a ruse. Nabanggit ko rin po na hindi naman naging quote-unquote talagang gera, kundi naging massacre ng mahihirap. Ang kinalabasan po, gagawa ng kumbaga enemy. Ang kalaban daw ay droga at under that, mag-ooperasyon. Sa ilalim ng mga operasyon, nagkaroon po ng planting of evidence, fabrication of evidence, para mabuo yung itsura na parang may nangyayari sa war on drugs. Pero po sa totoo, ito po ay mga patayan na talagang isinagawa para lang iswak doon sa operations. Kung ididikit ko din po doon sa dati na nating na bulatlat, pati po mga politically motivated crimes or politically motivated murders, dito na rin ipinasok sa quote-unquote war on drugs?
Earlier, we had a discussion that it was mentioned that guilt is personal. And as a lawyer, I understand that if we go about with the provisions of the revised penal code, Title 2, which refers to the persons who are criminal liable for felonies, yung Article 16 nang sinasabi doon, yung mga principal, accomplices, and accessories, and yung Article 17, sinasabi po doon yung tatlong klase ng principals. Principal by direct participation, principal by inducement, and principal by indispensable cooperation. Yung principal by direct participation, that is what we are referring to guilt, which is personal. And you mentioned a while ago that you are charging the former president because of the conspiracy. And also, he is liable as principal by inducement or principal by indispensable cooperation. Would you care to expound and explain this, Attorney Conti?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Chair, I would like to just clarify also that when you say guilt is personal, it doesn't mean that you have to be on site. You don't have to be the one who pulled the trigger. When you say guilt is personal, it means that you participated in some way or another in the commission of the crime. And when you planned or masterminded a crime, that is guilt that is personal as well. And so the participation of someone by inducement, nagbigay ka ng reward, sinabi mo, gawin mo ito, babayaran kita, that is inducement. By indispensable cooperation, bubuksan ko yung pintuan, gagawa ako ng policy para makapatay ka. At pagkatapos niyan, sisiguraduhin kong hindi ka mapaparusahan o maiimbestigahan. That could be principal by indispensable cooperation.
And a while ago, again, going back to the issue or topic of conspiracy, basically conspiracy means the act of one is the act of all. And how would you allege that the act of these law enforcers will also charge the former president for the victims of these extrajudicial killings?
Well, one, Your Honor, the character itself of crimes against humanity says that this is widespread and systematic killings. At ibig sabihin po ay may sistema na inilagay ang isang nakatataas na opisyales. Usually ay nasa gobyerno para utusan yung mga papatay, kumbaga. At pangalawa, ang konsepto po kasi ng conspiracy ay nag-usap-usap kayo, pinagplanuhan. At kung mai-establish ng ICC, and we believe so, kung mai-establish ng ICC na yung mga patayan ay konektado lahat sa war on drugs, konektado nun sa directives ni Duterte, maituturing po itong conspiracy o pinag-usapan. In fact, Your Honor, when we go back to the concept of negation and neutralization, the policy says so. And we can pull up a lot of police reports where the police would say, oh, we neutralized the suspect. And it is clearly, they fatally shot the suspect. Meaning, sinabi mo po na ganito, and this is how it was interpreted on the ground. Yung pong mga police report, klaro ang sinasabi, when you neutralize, you kill that person.
So basically, in layman's term po, Attorney Conti, because of the policy on the war on drugs of former President Duterte, and that is being implemented by the law enforcers, ibig sabihin, they can all be charged for the crimes against humanity because of that policy and implemented by these law enforcers.
A clarification, Your Honor, in crimes against humanity, and if this is charged before the International Criminal Court, they will only haul to court the most responsible, those who bear the greatest responsibility.
And in this case, Attorney Conti, who appeared to be the most responsible?
Clearly, the most responsible for crimes against humanity in the Philippines, in the acts of murder and other inhumane acts, would be none other than President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. That would include some other lower officials, perhaps Senator Bato de la Rosa, who also served as the chief of police during that time.
Are you familiar of the Senate inquiry that was conducted a week ago?
Yes, was it a week ago? I think so. This is the Senate inquiry also on the They call it the Philippine War on Illegal Drugs.
And later on, I'm sorry, and a while ago, we also heard the former president reiterated his statement in which he said that I take full legal responsibility on the policy and the implementation of the war on drugs. Would that be correct?
Yes, Your Honor. I also heard him say that he would also like to bear the responsibility for the consequences, legal and illegal.
With that statement, matutulungan po ba kayo at yung mga biktima o pamilya ng biktima nitong EGK doon sa kaso sa ICC?
To some extent, Your Honor, yes. Mr. Chair, the admissions before the legislative bodies in the Philippines could serve well in the investigation where they are determining who is most responsible. Ito na nga po, ang tanong nila, sinong may kasalanan, may umaamin. But moving forward into trial, there would be some sort of processes before these statements could be taken as evidence, but it's just a matter of procedure. Pwede pong gamitin ang mga sinabi ni Duterte dito at sa Senado sa pagbubukas po ng trial sa ICC at sa kahit na ano pa man pong korte.
I've seen one of your interviews in the television, and yet you are hopeful that before the 2024 ends, a warrant of arrest will be issued by the International Criminal Court. Inaasahan niyo po ba talaga na lumabas bago matapos ang taon ngayon?
Well, yes, Your Honor. But of course, there are processes with the ICC that are out of our control.
Mr. Chair, I just would like to share and inform everyone that earlier today, the Executive Secretary, former Chief Justice Lucas Bersamin, stated that if the former president desires to surrender himself to the jurisdiction of the ICC, the government will neither object to it nor move to block the fulfillment of his desire. Can we ask the reaction or the comment of the lawyers of the victims?
It would be nice to do that, sir, but they do not have any
I think, Mr.
jurisdiction.
Chair, if there's a
Tandaan mo yan.
question with regards to the ICC, the interpretation of the statement of the Executive Secretary is that if the ICC will issue a warrant of arrest and the Interpol is going to execute the warrant of arrest, the Philippine government, the Marcos administration, will not object to it and will allow the serving of the search warrant against President Duterte or whoever is the subject of such search warrant, Mr. Chair.
Yes, I fully agree, Attorney Colmenares. And in fact, that is what is stated in the second paragraph of the statement issued by the Executive Secretary, which I quote, "But if the ICC refers the process to Interpol, which may then transmit a red notice to the Philippine authorities, the government will feel obliged to consider the red notice as a request to be honored, in which case the domestic law enforcement agencies shall be bound to accord full cooperation to Interpol pursuant to established protocols." So before I would elicit your comment or reaction, Mr. Chair, I would like to ask the comment of our former President Duterte about this issuance of the Executive Secretary.
I'm happy with the narration of whatever states there is. Ang problema, walang jurisdiction. Bigyan mo muna ako ng jurisdiction before anything else. Before you move, jurisdiction muna. May jurisdiction ba sila?
Okay, Mr. Chair, I would like to ask the lawyers from
Yes.
the NUPL, or probably Attorney Jokno can also explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The ICC has jurisdiction. When we signed the Rome Statute, it was stated there, Article 127, that the ICC continues to have jurisdiction even if a country has withdrawn, if the proceedings have been instituted before the effectivity of the withdrawal. So 2017, na-file ang kaso originally, and then 2018, ito namang sa Rise Up Mga Pamilya, effectively March of 2019 ang withdrawal ng Pilipinas. So it has been, it has jurisdiction under Article 127. Bakit nilagay sa ICC yon? Kasi Mr. Chair, pag wala yon sa ICC, ang gagawin na lang ng mga presidente at mga prime minister, pag may kaso sila sa ICC, magwi-withdraw lang sila, wala nang mangyayari. Pero nilagay ng ICC yon na pag nasimulan na ang investigasyon, bago maging effective ang withdrawal mo, the ICC has jurisdiction. The second point, Mr. Chair, is this. Doon sa ICC, mayroong complementarity clause. Ang nakalagay sa ICC complementarity clause is precisely this. If the person is being investigated or prosecuted sa bansa na kung saan siya, then ICC genuinely investigated or prosecuted, then the ICC will not admit the case. Inadmissible siya.